RNC Chairman Michael Whatley. So, Mr. Chairman, great to have you here. Obviously, 2026, it seems so far away, but it's really not. What are you guys already working towards?
You know, what we're doing right now within the RNC is building up the infrastructure, making sure that we have the resources that we're going to need, getting everything ready to go to get out the vote and protect the ballot. But the bigger picture is really what's happening at the White House, what's happening in Congress, where President Trump is working every single day to deliver on his agenda, the agenda that the American people voted on. They wanted secure borders. We have secure borders. They want a strong economy. President Trump is taking steps every day to make sure that we have a strong economy, that we're going to have safe communities, and we're going to be strong enough on the world stage to be able to protect our interests. So we're seeing those are working through Congress with a great, big, beautiful bill. And we're also seeing that the president and his team are delivering every single day to get ready for it.
Now, generally, a midterm election such as this is a referendum on the party in power, or in this case, the president. He's already delivering on border security, on making the world safer, on so many areas. His approval on the economy, which is one of the big issues, is taking a little bit of a dip. I think as people get impatient about the tariffs and what that means, and are we going to get the tax cuts and things, do you think it's still going to come down to the economy? It's the economy, stupid, when Republicans put their names on the ballot next year?
I do. And so I think the steps that he's taking right now to make sure that we're bringing companies to America, we're bringing jobs to America, are exactly the right things that he needs to be focused on. You know, we talk about the tariffs a lot, but we also need to talk about the regulatory structure. We need to talk about the tax structure, the fact that we've seen companies like NVIDIA and others who have already promised to invest up to $7 trillion in the United States economy. You know, this was not happening under Joe Biden. In fact, those dollars were going overseas. We need to get the tax bill done so that we can make sure we extend the Trump tax cuts. We need no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security. We also need to make sure that the other pieces of the legislation are going to move forward, right? But at the end of the day, it does come down to tabletop issues. It comes down to pocketbook issues for the American voters. And we've already seen grocery prices are down dramatically. Gasoline prices are down dramatically, and interest rates are already ticking down. So we're starting to see movement because of the president's agenda.
You know, what we're also seeing a lot lately in Congress is Democrats seem to get on the wrong side of what we call 80-20 issues. Some of these, I would say, are 90-10 issues. That includes the SAVE Act. So essentially what that is, and obviously the House passing that as well with the help of 4 Democrats, but you cannot have illegal immigrants, someone who's not a United States citizen, voting in our elections. That seems to make sense. And I would say that's a 90-10 issue. But could this hurt Democrats in 2026 if they're still on the wrong side of these issues?
Absolutely. Look, 90% of the American people say that only American citizens should vote in these elections.
Right.
84% say it is perfectly appropriate for you to ask for them to prove their citizenship when they vote, when they register to vote. So that's what the SAVE Act is all about. And once again, as you said, Democrats are on the wrong side of a 90-10 issue, and we're continuing to see that as we move forward. Americans want election integrity. They want voter ID. They want only American citizens voting. They want the states to clean up the voter rolls. They want basic protections on mail-in ballots. That's what the Republican Party is fighting for right now. The Democrats cannot help themselves. If Donald Trump supports something, they're against it. If he opposes it, they're for it. I swear, if the president had a press conference today and said the sun is coming up in the east tomorrow, the Democrats would have a press conference and say, no, it's not. It's going to come up in the South.
Yet over and over, we still find them doing this. Obviously, the SAVE Act is a great example of this. They ran into the issues with boys and girls sports and those kinds of things. They're not learning their lesson. So do you get the sense that when they come back from their recess, we see the SAVE Act go on the floor of the Senate, and you're going to get Democrats voting against it? They have to realize, in my old world, that's a TV commercial down the road.
It absolutely is. You know, and 208 members of the Democratic caucus in the House voted against it. Only 4 members voted for it. That reflexive opposition to anything that the Republicans and President Trump says are going to absolutely be campaign questions that we're going to see going forward.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.